Okay, let's make sure everything's working. Let's make sure everything's working. All right, audio is good and we're ready to go. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Malin. Welcome back to another Madden 25 video. We're picking things up with the Cleveland Browns rebuild live stream part 3. I forgot to put the label for the season that we are in, but as of right now, we are getting ready to start the 2026 season. So this is our third season of the Cleveland Browns rebuild. Of course, in the last video, I tried to combine those, mainly with the intent that I would finish up the Cowboys rebuild potentially and continue the Cleveland Browns one. For this Cleveland Browns rebuild, we improved in the second year. Most of it was because we finally have a new quarterback in Quinn Ewers, who's already up to an 82 overall, so we're starting to see improvements there. I'm planning on having Ewers be the quarterback for this rebuild, and hopefully he can take us to where we want to go, and that's back to the top of this division and eventually be world champions again. Well, not again. The Browns have never won a Super Bowl. So anyway, here's our roster for year 3. We got Quinn Ewers, our starting quarterback again, going into his second season after he I don't think he actually won Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. I think he might have finished second or third in the voting for that. But he did pretty well. He did better than anything Deshaun Watson gave us. So we were able to finally trade before the beginning of last season. So that way we have that big contract off the books and we don't have to worry about it anymore. So we got Quinn Ewers, our starting quarterback. We signed Geno Smith as our backup QB, 72 overall. We still have Thompson Robinson as our third stringer, 64 overall. Probably just going to, whenever his contract is up, he'll walk. We still have Nick Chubb as our halfback, 90 overall. We were able to get him signed to a multi-year deal, so we don't have to worry about him playing on the franchise tag. And we had to do some restructuring of contracts to be able to make some signings this offseason. But we got a 90 overall starting running back, and I feel like that he's happier here with the new contracts. That'll definitely help. We also signed Khalil Herbert. Some of these players that I've actually signed, I signed after the draft because after the draft, there were a few decent players who were available, and I decided to pick them up as backups. Some of them were actually going to be starters this year. But we got a 7 overall Khalil Herbert as our backup running back. Fits the scheme. We did sign Pierre Strong this offseason, during the actual offseason. 70 overall running back. Sorry, guys. If I cough a little bit, it's because drainage has still been a factor for me, despite the fact my allergies are getting better, but still. Pierre Strong is our third string running back. 70 overall, was kind of looking at him to be the backup, but when I saw Khalil Herbert available, I decided to go ahead and sign him. And we still have Sir Roderick Thompson, Texas Tech favorite of mine. We signed Hunter Lipke in the offseason, although unfortunately he's hurt, so he may not miss. So he'll probably miss the first preseason game, but still a 72 overall fullback. Not the best fullback available on the market, but we were so strapped for cash that we had to kind of get who we could get to be our new starting fullback. Receiving-wise, we've improved a little bit. We still have Jerry Jeudy, but we also signed Mecole Hardman. Actually, I think we signed him before last season. So we have 2 receivers in the 80s. Ideally, I would like to get a really good receiver in the high 80s or maybe even the 90s because that may elevate Quinn Ewers to the next level in terms of quarterback play. We drafted, and Barry Brown has moved up to being our third receiver. Richie James is still here, but Barry Brown is a little bit better than him right now, so we're going to go ahead and have him be our third receiver. We still have Thrash. We still have Bernard, who was a rookie we drafted from Auburn this season, and we have Lacey, who's still here as well. And we also have Deuce Robinson, one of our draft picks this year, 67 overall. Hopefully he can develop. We have Njoku still as our tight end, 91 overall, one of our highest overall players. We did sign Mo Alley Cox to be the backup tight end for him. We drafted Brett Norfleet out of Missouri in the draft this year, but after I saw Mo Alley Cox still available after the draft, I decided to sign him as our backup tight end, and we still have Hines, who's also probably going to pull double duty as our long snapper, who's hurt. But we also signed Garrett Bowles during the offseason as well, actually during the preseason. So he's going to be our new left tackle, 79 overall. I was really surprised that a left tackle of his rating at 79 overall, who could potentially get into the 80s at some point this season, was available. So that was pretty good. 34 years old, getting up there in age a little bit, but obviously we need a veteran tackle in there because we drafted Spencer Fano, and I'm hoping that he can be the future, but when I saw Bowles was available, I couldn't help but sign him. And Jalen Rivers, who we drafted a year ago, is our third left tackle. Left guard, we still have Joel, who we've signed on a new contract, not this past offseason, but the offseason before, 84 overall. Gray's going to back him up. We got a 75 overall Garrett Bradbury, who we signed during the offseason at center, so we improved there. Wyatt Teller, we brought back on a new deal, 86 overall. We have Zinter, and of course, Roberts backing him up. And we got Jack Conklin, who's also at a 79. So the offensive line, we've improved the last couple of seasons. We've got a 79, 84, 75, 86, and 79. 3 of those 5 may be in the 70s still, but Conklin and potentially Bowles could be maybe in the 80s by the time we reach the middle of the season. We will see, and we have a better quarterback, obviously. Last season we finished 7-10. We were a lot better last season than we were in year 1 because the first year we only won 2 games and we had the number 1 overall pick. So we've already improved significantly than where we were a few years ago. Eric Armstead is also somebody who was available post-draft. Was still available on the free agent market. I picked him up, 76 overall left end. That's pretty rare to see that in free agency. Elijah Roberts is a guy we drafted a year ago. I was thinking about having him go ahead and be the starter to help him develop, but 67 overall doesn't give me a lot of confidence to roll him out there. And Joshua Joseph is a guy we drafted this year, 63 overall. Right in, we still have Myles Garrett. McGuire's still going to back him up. Defensive tackles really haven't changed. It's probably the weakest spot on our defensive line because we're pretty decent there, decent with Myles Garrett. I mean, Mike Hall Jr. is actually better than Armstead in terms of ratings, but we're going to roll with him again. We got a 72, Tomlinson, and Lee Hunter, who we drafted this year, 71 overall. Left outside linebacker, Abdul Carter started for us last season, and his rating went up pretty well. He's already up to a 78. He was a pick in I think the 2nd or 3rd round for us. So yeah, he was pretty good during his rookie season. Hopefully, can build off of that. We did sign Patrick Johnson to back him up. Middle linebacker, we signed Chris Barnes as well, and we got Kalen DeLoach, who's 68, and we got a 65 Muhammad. So our middle linebacking core is pretty weak outside of Barnes. Right outside linebacker, Roso's still here. He's our top-rated linebacker. He's the best linebacker we have, and he's up to an 87. Maybe he can get in the 90s club at the end of the season. We'll see. And we drafted Ernest Hausman this season out of this draft out of Michigan, 63 overall. I don't know. I may look to move into the left side if we keep Owosu around for a little while. Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome are still our starting corners. Our corner room we got 2 pretty solid cornerbacks. Cameron Mitchell is still here. Jason Marshall is going to get more playing time this season after he, I think, was 3rd or 4th, 5th string last season. So he'll get more playing time. We drafted him a year ago out of Florida. Miles Harden, Jacoby Johnson is a player we drafted this year out of Oklahoma. We'll see what he becomes. We have Humphrey, we got White, and we got Oliver. We signed Malik Hooker this offseason as well. He was another one of our, big signings, 75 overall, the former Cowboy, fits the scheme. And we also signed DeMar Hamlin to be the backup. Hamlin was actually still available, I think. No, we actually signed him during the regular offseason. But, we weren't really going for anybody that was going to be a bona fide starter. And DeMar Hamlin was pretty cheap to get. We didn't really have to break the bank for him. So 6 overall. And plus, I mean, hey, I'm a sucker for a great comeback story. And this guy had the greatest comeback story in NFL history. And there's no way that I'm wrong about that. I'm just saying. Anyway, strong safety, we still have Greg Delpit, 83 overall, who's actually one of our top defensive players now. He's continued to improve the last couple of years. And we drafted Keon Sabb this year as well out of Alabama, 74 overall, strong safety to back him up. Needed some depth there. We still have Dustin Hopkins. We signed Bradley Pinion as our new punter. And that is our squad for year 3 of this rebuild. We won 7 games last year. I guess the question really for me is, can we move it in the direction of maybe making the playoffs as a wild card team? We will see. We still have, I still have some questions. This team has some questions to answer. I'm just wondering if offensively we have enough weapons to be able to really compete with some of the tough teams in the league. Unfortunately, Mecole Hardman has a broken wrist. He's out for 3 weeks, and Lee Hunter has a PCL sprain. So Hardman will miss the last preseason game against Detroit, and we'll probably miss the first 2 games of the season. We got a new ability unlocked for Spencer Fano. Okay, nasty streak ability slot. So we got this unlocks Pass protector, tough unit, tough nut. Okay, so do we have like unlocks at 80 overall, unlocks at 95 overall? Okay, so Nasty Streak is the new ability that we've unlocked. Blockers with this ability will frequently attempt and win impact blocks against linebackers and defensive backs when playing as a lineman or fullback. Okay, so our rookie already actually has an upgrade, so that's pretty good starting things out with. But we're still going to roll with Bowles as our starter for now, and we'll see where we want to go from there. But let me go ahead and check well, I'll check it after the last preseason game because that's when things will kind of become a little bit more clear in the picture. We did lose our second preseason game to Atlanta, and we lost to Detroit as well. So let's go ahead and cut 9 players, and we'll get the roster trimmed the way that we want it for the first game of the season. I want to keep 3 quarterbacks active just because of that. 4 running backs active I think would actually be okay too. As far as receivers, I think if I put Deuce Robinson on the I don't know if I want to do that to one of our new rookies. You know what? I'm actually going to move Hines to the practice squad. I know he's a long snapper, but I'm not. And I'm going to move Rivers to the practice squad as well. Other than that, our offensive line depth don't have a whole lot. Roberts, I actually don't want to move him to practice because I think he'll get picked up. Defensive end wise, I don't want to. I'm trying to do better about not putting high-rated 70 rookies on the practice squad because they usually get snatched up. But we've got Muhammad, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and cut him. We're going to be short at middle linebacker this season. We still have 2 of them, but still. Now we got a bunch of corners. I'm going to put Oliver, White, and Humphrey, I think, on the practice squad. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 corners. I'd like maybe to keep 6 of them active. We don't have multiple. Well, we have multiple safeties, but we don't have enough to, like 3 of them, to put 1 of them on the practice squad. Okay, we still need to make 3 cuts. Remove 3 guys to the practice squad. Receiving wise, I'm going to take a gamble and put. I don't want to risk losing any of these guys. All right, I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to put Deuce Robinson on the practice squad. Lacey, I still want him active. What about, are there any more offensive linemen? No, I think we've dealt with all the linemen we can. All right, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to put Joshua Josephs on practice. And what about linebackers? Do we have extra linebackers? No, I don't think we do. All right, and I'm Miles Harden. I'm going to move him to the practice squad as well. So we have 5 corners who are active right now. And then again, we can always go and pick one of those guys up from the practice squad when we need help at certain positions. All right, let me actually go ahead and check the depth chart really. Let me actually check the injury report to start the regular season because Hardman will still miss this. So Hardman will miss the opener, and so will Norfleet, our 3rd-string rookie tight end. So we have a couple of injuries right off the bat to start out the season, but not too concerned right now because we haven't even started yet, so still got a ways to go. So Barry and Brown is going to get a lot of playing time in the first game of the season. So hopefully that'll help with a little bit more of that development, but we will see. Let's just make sure that all the positions are correct in terms of the looks of everything. Yeah, I think all this is looking good. All right, so I think the depth chart is looking pretty good. I just want to do a double take to make sure. All right, time to choose our draft class. Let's import a local file because we've got the 2027 draft, I believe. So yeah. So we're going to go ahead and upload that. Hughley, Mullen, Arch Manning. Okay, and Malachi Nelson. This draft class has some rookies that are real in the first few rounds, but some of the later rounds, there's players that people, that aren't real. So this is kind of the time where we get to draft classes that have been pre-made that are not too familiar, so to speak. So anyway. All right, well, let's go ahead and simulate to the middle of the season and see how the Cleveland Browns are doing in year 3. Oh boy, we're going backwards. Start out the year 2-4. That's not off. Well, I mean, it's not the most awful thing, but that's not good. We're going backwards in year 3. Do we have injuries? No, we do not. So we don't have any injuries. So this is all with, I guess, everybody's staying relatively healthy. Go ahead and delegate decision to staff. Let's check on players who are ready to negotiate. Oh boy, Myles Garrett's contract is up, and he's not really interested in re-signing right now. But we have $112 million. Let's go with a player-friendly deal to start out with. Let's go big. Excited to sign. Great. That ate up a lot, but Myles Garrett, you're not getting away from us. You're going to be a member of this team for the rest of the rebuild. There's no doubt about that. Okay. All right, so let me see. Jones is a backup right tackle, so I'm willing to let him walk. Delpit 83 overall. I think that'd be tough. I think he would be a tough guy to let go. This offer is getting real tempting. Okay, so we're still not there. He may be franchise tag bait. I don't know. Herbert's kind of a one-year rental, so we're going to let him go. I think we can get better middle linebacker too, so we'll probably let Barnes walk. Deloach really doesn't want to come back. Richie James, I think we've drafted some young receivers who are better than him, so he's expendable. Pierre Strong, I don't think is worth bringing back because we have some other young running backs. Maybe we can get another better backup running back during free agency. Thompson Robinson, third string, he's out of here. Johnson's back, a middle linebacker. I don't know. We may be able to do a little bit better than Hooker. I think I may just re-sign DeMar Hamlin for depth. Good offer. Okay, so we got Hamlin back on a one-year deal, but I think I'm just going to let Hooker walk. I didn't want to let Hamlin go, so we had at least one free safety on the roster. Armstead is tempting to bring back, but if there's a guy in the 80s, I think we can bring him back. And I think Conklin really isn't getting up to the 80s, so I feel like we could do better at right tackle as well. Maybe at center. Tomlinson's a backup defensive tackle. Geno Smith's a backup quarterback. Bowles, maybe I might have to, consider bringing him back. 79 overall is pretty tough to let go, but we got that rookie in there too. So you know what? I'm going to take a risk, let him walk. Like Cox, I think with you, we probably get better fullback, get another punter. I think that's it. I don't really think I want to bring back anybody else except for Delpit, yeah. But we're going to have to give him a very player-friendly option. So we're going to commit to him for a 5-year deal just to keep him around here, which may be breaking the bank a little too much. Answer immediate question. It's going to be part of this team one way or another, and he is. At least we got Myles Garrett signed to a multi-year deal. He's going to be here for the rest of the rebuild, no question about that. We do not want to let a 98 overall defensive end walk away. That'd be crazy. So at the middle of the season, we're 2-4. We play the 3-4 Steelers this week. Looks like we may be going backwards a little bit in year 3, which isn't good. And we lost again to the Steelers. And now we're 2-5. We play a 2-6 Atlanta Falcons team, and we lost to them as well. We're starting to go downhill now really quickly. We're 2-6. This is not going well. I'm going to answer an immediate question. So, yes, we have to turn things around. I thought this would be a playoff team this year, but I guess not. Let me take a look at the stats and see what's going on. See, what's kind of going on around here. Well, Ewers has 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's not bad. Chubb has over 500 yards with 6 touchdowns. Herbert's chipped in with 3. Receiving-wise, Njoku is leading us in receiving. He also has 2 touchdowns. The leader in touchdowns is actually Richie James. So I think that's one of the issues that we're having on offense is that we don't have a number one really dominant receiver. Like the guy who's our most highly rated receiver is 3rd in receiving yards with 314, and he only has 2 touchdowns. And Hardman only has 2 touchdowns as well. Brown has over 100 yards with 1 touchdown. So Njoku, our tight end, is our best pass catcher this season. So looks like, we still have some improvements to make with this team. So I think that it may just be a deal where, going into the off season, may just be a lot of positions that we just need to upgrade. Let me check the injury report and see if we've got any significant injuries right now. Delpit is out for 1 week with turf toe, but, well, then again, going, to a 6-6 overall, DeMar Hamlin is a bit of a downer. We just signed him to a new deal, but we haven't gotten Delpit's secured yet in terms of his signature. Delpit may just be a guy that we franchise tag just because I don't know if I want to give him a huge, massive, multi-year, very player-friendly deal because Garrett took the player-friendly option for 4 years. Delpit looks like he was asking for a 5-year deal. That's a little bit too much for me if you ask me in terms of money. So we'll see if we can get better. We may take a risk, but I think it's worth taking. All right, so let's advance. See if we can beat the Dolphins this week. They're 4-4. We finally get off of the losing streak. Okay, we finally win our first game in like several weeks. So we're 3-6. Obviously, we're still struggling. We play the Raiders this week. They're 2-7, so they're just as bad as us. And we lose to them. So now, are we at the bottom of the division? Yes, we are. Once again, kind of like in year one, we're pretty much back to being basement dwellers in the AFC North. So I got to look at something else. I got to look at some stats here. Like I want to see on defense. Are we struggling on defense? Let me see team stats. Okay, so offensively, so in total offense, we are we? Well, we're kind of towards the bottom. All right, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 26, 27. So we're like 27th in total offense. We haven't been able to, I guess we haven't really been able to run the ball too well, even though we have a 90 overall running back. What about defense? Like, are we struggling on defense? Defensively, we have surrendered. We've only defensively we're not doing too bad. We have this. We're second in total defense in terms of yards allowed. We have 23 sacks on the season. That's not as much as Detroit, but it's the same amount as the Chargers. So and the Cowboys have 23 sacks, but look at this. The Bears have 29. Okay, so, but still, I mean, we have, of course, Myles Garrett, so obviously he's going to be picking up most of the sacks. He's got, we got 23 sacks. We have 7 interceptions for the season, although the Colts have like 13 of those. The Packers look like they're leading the league in interceptions. So defensively, we're not surrendering a lot of yards. Looks like we're just not getting a whole lot of turnovers. We haven't recovered a fumble all season. We have 23 sacks, so we're obviously getting pressure on the quarterback. I mean, let's see defensively how things, are kind of looking here. I mean, defensively, I would assume Myles Garrett is having a fantastic season. He has 8 tackles for loss. He has 11.5 sacks already this season. So that's by far the best of anybody on the team. Eric Armstead actually has 3.5. So bringing him on looks like it's okay. Barnes has 2.5 sacks. Oso has 2. So, I mean, we're getting pressure. As far as interceptions, Barnes has 2. Hooker's got 2. So those guys are tied in interceptions. We have 1 from Delpit. We got 1 from Newsom. We got 1 from Owosu. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess we're just not finding ways to win these games. I mean, it looks like to me that Quinn Ewers is having a decent season. I mean, 15 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. I think the priority this offseason might be to really look at getting a really good receiver because our third best receiver is leading us in receiving yards. I mean, technically, Njoku is. I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with having a really good tight end who's going to be a really good tight end in your offense, but I feel like we need to get some really good receivers because, I mean, Judy is solid at 84 overall, but he's not a superstar player, and neither is Hardman. So I think this season the priority may be to really look and see if there's an elite receiver out there in free agency, if there's some high 80s guy, or maybe even a rare situation where some team lets a 90 receiver on the market, or we may have to just trade for one. This I will say, this offseason going into it looks like the first one since the start of the rebuild where we're not going to be in the negative. We're not going to be negative in the salary cap. Like, we've been able to negotiate contracts with players during the season, this season, for the first time. So we're starting to get out of salary cap hell, which is good, which obviously is going to allow us more opportunities to sign better players and actually be more of an active participant in free agency with some of the top-tier free agents. So with the money that we may save by letting everybody walk, maybe outside of Delpit and franchise tagging him, we'll be able to save enough money where this is the offseason where maybe we can actually go a little bit crazy and spend some money to really try to get this team better. Because we've drafted some decent players, I feel like, but outside of yours and maybe Abdul Hodge, looks like most of our rookies already aren't really contributing very much, or they're not progressing very well. So we'll see. All right, well, we play the Colts this week. They're 7-3. They have, I think, the most interceptions in the league, so they got a good defense, and we lose to them by 5. So we're not really getting blown out of these games. We're just not able to finish them, it looks like. Obviously, because of the fact that we're losing in year 3 is probably drawing the interest of players to re-sign with us down pretty good. I mean, Garrett wasn't interested in re-signing with us, but we offered him a pretty good deal, and that convinced him to stay. That's really because, hey, he's one of the best defensive ends in football. He's a 98 overall. He's led us in sacks every year. He's made the Pro Bowl every year that we've done this rebuild. I'm not letting Myles Garrett go. Okay, and I'm not going to try to trade him for a bunch of picks. I know maybe that's the best thing to do to get better sometimes in a rebuild, but I guess I'm also just a little bit frustrated because I hate when my teams regress in the next year. I mean, we weren't super good last season, but we finished 7-10. We're 3-8 right now. We still have a few more games to go, but we're not going to have as good of a record as we had last season with the rate that we're going. So that's kind of got me a little bit disappointed, to put it politely. And the Bengals are at the top of the division this year. They're 10-1, so pretty much chalking Week 13 up as a loss as well. And we get a monumental upset. Whoa. Okay, I got to say this. That might be the biggest upset of the entire NFL season this year. I got to look at this, okay, because the first time we played the Bengals on opening day, we lost by 6. We played them pretty close. In this game, we won by 3 points. I got to look at player stats for this one. So yours had a pretty solid day, 299, almost 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. We had over 50 yards rushing by Nick Chubb, who carried it 20 times. We had a rushing touchdown. Clear Herbert had a rushing touchdown. James had a touchdown, and so did James had a touchdown. So yeah, that was so that's good. I was on both teams. Brown actually played pretty well. I don't know if Judy got hurt or something like that, but Richie James and Barry and Brown and Hardman were our 3 best receivers in this game. So wow, but hey, the Bengals were 10-1. We're 10-1. We dropped them 10-2. Maybe that'll start a little bit of a hot streak for us. And I'm not thinking we're going to make the playoffs, but if we just get a little bit of momentum at the end of the season, rocket ship into next season, that would be big. And Eric Armstead broke his ankle. He's out for the 10 weeks. But we're not making the playoffs, so I'm going to go ahead and put him on IR. I'm going to put him on IR, and I'm going to take a look at the free agent pool and see what we have out there. So with him out, that means that we're going to have, I think, one of our rookies starting at left end potentially for the rest of the season. Elijah Roberts. Okay, he's not a rookie. 68 overall. I got to go sign another defensive end. I got to go sign a left end. All right, let's check the free agent market. Is there a left end that is somewhat decent? Okay, so the top guy, let's bring back Zadarius Smith. We probably should have brought him back this season to begin with. Wait, hold on a second. Over the salary cap, I have to clear $5.63 million. Jeez. Okay, well, maybe I'll just have to bring up somebody from the practice squad. let me take a look at our roster. I think I just may want to bring up somebody from Practice Squad for cheaper because battery level's low. Do we have a left in on our Practice Squad? We do. We have Joseph's. Okay, so can we sign him to the to the active roster? Oh, okay. I think I know what I have to do. Okay, I gotta. This is a very weird thing. Like you have to go to the free agent pool, and you have to go to on Practice Squad, and you have to go to the position you want, and then you have to like look for your player from here. You can't just pull them from the menu. So kind of annoying, but still. I have to clear money to let him on. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to cut somebody. Hopefully my controller doesn't die. I mean, that notification just popped up. I tried to charge it before I started the live stream. After I finish this one, I'm going to make sure to put my controller on the charger to give it some juice for the next recording. Okay, who are we just going to have to? I mean, we're just going to have to straight up cut somebody. Can we cut center and not have any penalties? It will incur a penalty. Okay, all right. Can we cut Roberts and not have a penalty? It'll incur a penalty. Okay. I don't want to have any cap penalties. We have to cut a corner. We can't even do that. Okay, I might have to just take the penalty with how much is the penalty going to be if we cut Roberts? Okay, that'll be 90K. All right, we're cutting Zinner. Okay. Well, I don't know if that'll be enough though to sign that left end from the practice squad. Don't think that'll be enough. Hope I'm wrong, but let's see. I still have to clear 230K. Jeez. All right. If I can't cut anybody else. We cut Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Incur a penalty of 90K. Cut Strong. I don't think I'm going to bring him back. Incur a penalty of 80K. We cut Thrash. No, it's going to have to do it. All right. Let's see if that's enough. All right, we're barely able to sign Josephs. So now we have one of our rookies back on the roster. We activated him from the practice squad to give us some more depth at defensive end because obviously we need it due to our starter being down. So what this does is that obviously they have Garrett over there. They put McGuire over there, which probably is the best thing to do in terms of overall ratings, if I'm being brutally honest. Okay, so we're just going to go with that, which is fine because that'll put McGuire, who's 69, over there. Myles Garrett will go over to the left side. But at least we have another defensive end who's active, so we have, maybe more of a rotation. We did have to cut a couple of players who gave us some cap penalties, but hopefully we'll still be okay. All right. After a big win against the Bengals, let's see if we can make it a couple in a row against the 8-4 Steelers, who are just as good as them. And we beat the Steelers. So the last 2 weeks in a row, and not only we beat the Steelers, we shut them out 31-0. So we've picked up 2 back-to-back divisional wins in a row. So we're starting to get a little bit of momentum at the end of the season. This won't be this once again the 3rd season in a row of no playoffs for a rebuild, but at least we're starting to get some wins together, and this team is starting to get a little more confidence at the end of the season, which is I think about the only thing I can hope for at this point of the year. Playing the Saints this week, and we beat the Saints by 21 points. What is going on? I don't know what's been going on lately, but our offense has been putting up like a bunch of numbers. So I think yours is finally improving a little bit at the end of the season. Maybe his rating is starting to go up, and I'm pretty sure that's what's happening with this team, despite the injury that we had to one of our starting defensive ends. That's big. Let me check the injury report because we only have a few games left. So other than Armstead, there's nobody else who's hurt. So we should be good for the rest of the year, hopefully. But we will see. Well, it doesn't get any easier. We're playing the Ravens this week. We're 1 game behind them in the division. So if we win, we can at least get ourselves into 3rd place, which would be nice. And we beat the Ravens by 3. Wow, we've won like 4. We've won 4 games in a row now. Whoa. But we're the 9th seed in the AFC. We've gotten up to 3rd now in the division. So if we win these last 2 games, maybe we can make the playoffs. So we've already matched our win total from last season. So if we win even 1 more game in these last 2 weeks, that would be progression. That would count because we would be 1 game better than last season. Excuse me. Drinking some green tea to keep my mouth wet. Anyway. All right. So, but, Texans are 5-10, so we're better than them. Hopefully this isn't a letdown game by our standards now because we won 4 in a row. We're starting to get a little bit hot. And the magic carpet ride comes to an end, which all but seals our fate this season. Once again, we're back in the basement of the division. We're 11th. No shot at the playoffs this year. But if we beat the Titans in our final regular season game at home in front of the dog pound, we at least have a chance to finish 1 game better than we did last season. And if we win this, we will have won 5 of our last 6 games to end the season, which should count definitely as momentum going into 2027. As far as injuries, though, we unfortunately are going to have to try to win this game without our backup right tackle and our starting centers. So we've got some injuries. Due to our salary cap situation, though, I just feel like that we can't sign anybody or even bring anybody up from the practice squad. So I think we're just going to have to go with who we have, and we're just going to have to go with that. So that's what we're going to have to do. Okay, then. Well, let's take a look at the playoff picture going into the final week of the regular season. We don't have a chance in making the playoffs, but this is the way things are looking right now. You got the Chiefs and the Broncos, the Bills and the Steelers, the Colts and the Chargers, and the Bengals, who we beat in an upset during the regular season, which would probably count as our biggest win of the season. They have the number 1 seed in the AFC. Packers have the number 1 in the NFC. It's Cowboys, Eagles, Niners, Bears, Bucks, Lions. So that's the way the playoffs are looking in year 3, going in the last game of the week of the regular season. So let's go out against the Titans, see if we can get a win to end the year. Let me change this to the orange pants or the orange pants. There they are. They're the orange pants. I know it's a weird look, but I'm going to go with that for our final home game against the Titans.
It's week 18 of the National Football League.
And Nick Chubb has rushed for over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. This might be his first Pro Bowl season of the rebuild, which would be nice. A couple of 7-9 teams. There's no chance of probably either of us making the playoffs. But we're out here to try to finish 1 game better than we did last season. Hopefully we can get it done. And let's get it going. We got the worst announcing team for this game, though, but we're out here to try to get the W. All right, it's 1st and 10 here. Slant. Let's go actually the slants here.
From the red zone now.
I'm just going to run it with yours. We had a little bit of space. That might not have been the best decision, but it was open a little bit, so I decided to go for it.
Look at their injured players now, Brock.
Let's run it with Chubb.
For them this season, I'd assume the goal is just to get
all right, let's go, Nick. And Nick Chubb powers forward, 1st and goal. Nice.
The guys that are out here, they're not thinking that way at all. It is a bummer. There's no question about it, and those injuries played a role in them not making the playoffs. If guys that get to play today, this is their shot.
Get the blocking we wanted.
Tape, and you never know what this afternoon or evening could do for
them. Go with another running play, see if we can catch him off guard. After that, we'll definitely have to throw it. We don't make it in. Yeah, we don't get anything on that run. I don't want to squander an opportunity to not score here.
Good stops here. This brings up 3rd and goal. Now looking to throw.
On Judy. Back of the end zone. Touchdown, Jerry Judy. Let's go. Titans come back with a touchdown of their own. We got a chance to kick a field goal, though. A 48-yarder by Dustin Hopkins. This should be money. Hopkins makes it. Now we take the lead again, 10-7. Once again, we're on offense. We got a 1st and 10. We got a chance to go 2 minutes here. We got all 3 of our timeouts left. We're going to call a timeout after this play. And Njoku makes the catch. I'm going to call a timeout.
And he's down after getting this up to the 41. Nice spot here for the offense. It's 2nd and 1. From the 41.
Come on, Njoku. There we go. Nice catch. Get out of bounds. There we go.
16 yards.
1st down.
Play. And that's good for a Cleveland 1st down. He'll throw it yet again.
Come on, Hardman. Hardman over the middle. 1st down. All right. Let's go a little bit quick here.
Trying to work quickly now. Throwing with a blitz on the way.
Oh, great throw. Ewers and Njoku. Touchdown to end the half. Let's go. That's the big play we needed. Ewers is looking good. Starting to play with a lot more confidence now, I feel. So we have our franchise quarterback. There's no question about that.
On the table here for 3rd and 3.
3rd and 3.
Again,
pick this up, Chubb. There we go. Another big 1st down. Beautiful.
Well, we've talked about this before, Brock. The thinking simple but effective.
Yeah, Chubb has had a good season. I'm hoping there's a spot in the Pro Bowl for him, but we will see.
There's just certain things up in this booth that I love. I think you could feel it emanating from me. And one of them is when you impose your will.
Oh, good block.
Don't back away from it.
We go. Lukey, I think, has probably made a difference as well. If we have a solid fullback that is at least in the mid-70s or something like that, we're going to be able to be a good running football team with Chubb as long as we have him. So, I like that. Come on, Chubb. Get through the... okay, down to the 2. All right, I'm going to give it to you again. Going a little bit more ground and pound on this drive. Couldn't... man, when we get inside the 5, the blocking has just been not very good. Haven't been able to punch it in.
Working to carry this lead through to the end.
All right. 10-point lead going to the 4th quarter, and we're on the doorstep of making the lead even bigger. 3rd and goal at the 4. I really want to finish this drive off with a touchdown. I'm just going to have to throw it.
Back now, pressure on its way.
There we... Oh, Hardman almost got in. We stopped at the 1. Are they going to let us go for this? Shoulder strain. Let's keep it Chubb in here. You know what? Let's just go for it. Let's just start putting those nails in the coffin. 4th and goal. Come on, Chubb. Come on, Chubb. And Chubb is in for the touchdown. Gambled a little bit on 4th and goal there, but it doesn't matter. We're in for 6. That really started to put a stranglehold on this game. Playing defense for the first time in this game, at least I am. So. Come on, D. I couldn't really see it, but I think Cody Pickett is their quarterback. So it's no wonder the Titans having a not as great of a season. Well, I'm going to show good sportsmanship and probably run the football more, even though it's 3rd down and 8. But we're going to show a little bit of class. But Nick Chubb just stiff-armed a man to high heaven, clear out of the way for a first down. He's got over 100 yards rushing in this game. I think he's pretty much at like 150. So he's been on a tear this game, for sure. No question about that. Oh, man. Sometimes that blocking on those outplays has been just pretty good. And 2-minute warning. This game is all but over. We're just going to run the football a couple more times. We'll probably take knees from here on out as well. And get out of here with our 8th win of the season. I know it'll be only an improvement in year 3 by 1 game, but it's still an improvement. And hopefully with how hot we were at the end of the season, because we were, I think we were like, 3-9 or 3-8 or something like that. And we won 5 of our last 6 games. And Chubb finally finds pay dirt. We won 5 of our last 6 games, including this one. So, and not only that, but we beat the Titans very handily here today. So that, I think, hopefully catapults us a little bit into next season. And offensively, most of our games we've been averaging around like 30 points. We've scored 31 in a bunch of the wins that we had during our 5 out of 6 game stretch of wins. So I think yours is getting better. Obviously, Nick Chubb is fully recovered from the injury he had a few years back. I think it's just going to be a deal where we just need to find maybe another really good receiver so we have better numbers in the passing game, because we have a really good running back. We have good defensive players, one of the great ones in Myles Garrett, and a good tight end who made a big touchdown catch today. So I'm thinking offensively that's the only thing that's really separating us, and maybe some improvements on the offensive line as well, because ideally I'd like to get all the linemen to be in the 80s, but we'll see. So obviously we don't make the playoffs. We finished 8-9. We finished 10th in the AFC. So unfortunately that does mean we finished in last place in the division, but we only were behind by 1 game to the Ravens, who we did beat late in the season. But we beat the Titans, so playoffs for year 3 look like this. We got the Bengals against the Ravens. We got, so the AFC North was also pretty good this year. And that's another thing. We played a pretty tough division where 3 teams, it looks like every year, are really good. Look at this. All 3 of all the teams that had a winning record in the division made the playoffs. Then again, maybe if we won the last couple of games and maybe we beat the Texans, maybe we would have had a chance to make the postseason. But I don't know. Because that would have flip-flopped. We would have probably been 9-8, just like Baltimore. They probably would have given us the edge to make the playoffs over them, but it is what it is. So we have the Bengals against the Ravens. We've got the Bills against the Steelers. And we got the Colts against the Chargers in the wild card round. The Chiefs have the bye. Cowboys have the bye in the NFC. We got the Lions and the Bears, the 49ers and the Eagles, the Bucs and the Packers. So the playoffs looking a little different than they were in going into regular season. Week number 18, so a little bit of change there, but not too much. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of fast forward through playoffs, getting to Pro Bowl week, just because I want to see if any of our Browns made it. Let's go ahead and get past the rounds, conference championship week as well. Now let's take a look and see who's going to play in the Super Bowl. All right, so the playoffs look like this. We had the Bengals take down the Ravens in the wild card game. The Steelers went on the road and beat the Bills by 3, and the Chargers went on the road and beat the Colts. So it was Chiefs against the Steelers. The Chiefs won by 3, and then the Bengals played against the Chargers, and they beat them. So it was Chiefs and Bengals once again in the AFC Championship, and once again, Joe Burrow got the best of Mahomes for the second time in his career. NFC side, the Bears go on the road in Detroit and shut out the number 2 seed in the postseason. That probably has to be the biggest upset of the playoffs and the biggest storyline for sure. And the Eagles beat the 49ers on the road, and the Packers beat the Bucs on the road. So all the road teams won on Wild Card Weekend. The Cowboys, though, brought the Bears back down to earth. They beat them 28-6, and the Packers beat the Eagles by 1. So it was Cowboys, Packers in the NFC Championship. And the Packers, once again, beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. What else is new? Even in the rebuilds I was doing with them, that was happening pretty much every season as well. 31-24 was the final, so it's going to be Packers and Bengals in this year's Super Bowl. Bengals are looking for their first Super Bowl win ever. It's their first Super Bowl appearance since 2021. So we'll see if Burrow gets the win this time. Let's check out the Pro Bowl roster, see if any of our Browns made it. And Nick Chubb makes the Pro Bowl for the first time in the rebuild. And he was, actually, it looks like he's the starter at running back. So he makes the Pro Bowl this year. Who else from the Browns made the Pro Bowl? Did Njoku make it? No, David Njoku didn't make it. What about any linemen? Do we have any linemen make it? Probably not. Don't really have a lot of good linemen. Nope, but there he is. Mr. 98 overall, Myles Garrett. Once again in the Pro Bowl, but what else is new? All-timer. Oh, look at that. Hall also made the Pro Bowl. Our starting defensive tackle. He made the Pro Bowl this year. That's cool. And did we have any of our defensive backs make it? Ooh, Barry Brown, who was our kick returner this season, made the Pro Bowl. All right, so we had 4 Browns, including one on special teams. So we had Brown, we had Garrett, and we had Brown, we had Hall, our defensive tackle, we had Garrett, and we had Chubb make the Pro Bowl. So we had 4 Browns in the Pro Bowl this year. So that's improvement. This season definitely counts as an upswing, even though it was only an upswing by 1 game, but still. All right, well, let's get to Super Bowl week. Let's see who wins between the Packers and the Bengals. And it looks like, oh, it hasn't been played yet. Sorry. Anticlimactic there. Oh, let's check out yearly awards. I almost forgot about this. Okay, so the MVP is Mahomes. Coach of the Year goes to Andy Reid. No surprise there. AFC. No Browns for Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year in the AFC goes to Myles Garrett. All right, but I don't know if he won Defensive Player of the Year overall. He probably didn't because we're not a playoff team. Probably not as many votes. But AFC Defensive Player of the Year, he did win that. Offensive Rookie of the Year, no Browns there. Defensive Rookie of the Year, nobody there. Best QB, any love for yours? No. Best running back, Nick Chubb wins Best Running Back in the AFC this year. So he is definitely getting better and healthier. He's probably happier because he has that new contract. So things are going well for him. Best receiver. No Browns receivers. See, I think that's what's separating this offense from being from being decent and on the verge of being good to great. We need to get like a solid receiver, a real number 1 receiver. Maybe somebody in the 90s. Maybe we can do somebody like that. We'll see. Best offensive lineman. No Browns, best defensive lineman. So Myles Garrett also won best defensive lineman in the AFC. So he's actually really walking home with 2 awards. And even Hall got some love. 8th for best defensive lineman as well. Best linebacker. No Browns. Best DB. No Browns here either. Best kicker. Nobody. All right. Well, I don't know if Myles Garrett won Defensive Player of the Year overall, but Nick Chubb, best running back in the AFC. Myles Garrett won Defensive Player of the Year in the AFC, and he also won Best Defensive Lineman. So, a couple of Pro Bowlers and award winners this year. Pretty solid. All right, let's see who wins it all. Bengals and Packers. And the Packers have won their 5th Super Bowl, denying the Bengals yet again. Oh, and look at that. Myles Garrett did win Defensive Player of the Year. All right, so Myles Garrett did win Defensive Player of the Year overall. Despite the fact that we didn't make the playoffs, he's still a dominant force, and he's still somebody that we can obviously build this defense around and continue for years to come. And the MVP of the Super Bowl was Jordan Love of the Packers. The Coach of the Year actually went to Jim Harbaugh. So it wasn't Andy Reid. I guess they must have changed the votes or something. That was pretty weird. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Brandon Ayuk of the 49ers. Defensive Player of the Year, of course, is Garrett. Offensive Rookie of the Year overall goes to Nico Imanella, the former Tennessee quarterback, was drafted by Seattle. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Dante Corleone from the Packers. Straight up, I do not know who that is. And he won a Super Bowl in his first season. So, not bad for a rookie year. All right, now it's time to take a look at retirements. We didn't have a whole lot of young players, but it looks like the Honey Badgers retired, so is Ryan Tannehill. David Batarius retired. C.J. Mosley retired. Ryan Kelly retired. DeMarcus Lawrence retired. So did Brandon Cooks. So we did have some retirements. One of them was Garrett Bowles. I was considering maybe bringing him back, but he's retiring after 10 years. So obviously we need to... I still like that rookie that we have, but I think we may still need to look at some left tackle options in terms of depth going into this offseason. So I think that's what we probably will still look at. So let's kind of get to our first re-sign period, and let's take a look at our options for what we can do with Delpit, because we have $63 million. I'm going to go with the previous offer. I'm excited to sign. Oh, okay, so that was enough. All right, so we have $53 million, but I'm actually going to go ahead and I think I'm just going to let everybody walk. I think I'm just going to do that. I really think that we can just improve in other places, and I think it's just time to make this team better. And the more cap room we have, the more we can do with it. So I'm satisfied with going into free agency with letting these guys go. All right. So let me take a look at our roster and really see where we have to make some improvements in free agency. I talked about receiver ad nauseum. We do need another backup quarterback. Running back wise, we need another backup running back for 1 year to back up Chubb. It's only an 82, but still. We need a new fullback again. I think that actually helped a lot with the running game that we actually had a good fullback in Lipke, so maybe we can find another one who's just as good. Judy has gone up by 1 point. I still like Barry and Brown, and actually he's better than Hardman right now. So Barry and Brown has progressed pretty well going into what will be year 4 next season. So that's pretty good. But I think we still need another receiver. But I think all the rest of the receivers are good. I mean, I don't think we need to do improvements there. I think I'm just going to go with Norfleet as our backup tight end. He's got him to a 71, so he progressed a little bit this season. Fano actually got up to an 80 this year. I actually think he did play because they put Bowles on the right side. He's already up to an 80, so I like that. Left guard, 81. We need a center. We don't have any centers. And we definitely need to upgrade at right tackle. Because Weatherspoon 65 overall, that's not going to cut it. We need another solid defensive end to go on the opposite side of Garrett, in my opinion. I think we definitely need that. Hall was actually pretty solid this past season. He got up to an 85. Wow, okay, so he actually did pretty good. Okay, so I think Hall is a solid guy to still keep in terms of our starter at defensive tackle. But let's get another defensive tackle to back him up. And Abdul Carter is up to an 80. All right, we finally got another rookie up to the 80s, so that's great. Well, actually, I say that. Barry and Brown got up to an 80, got up finally in the 80s this year as well. So Abdul Carter has progressed pretty well. We need a new middle linebacker. Owosu is pretty solid. Houseman is getting a little bit better. Corner-wise, 91, 88, 75 with Mitchell, and Marshall got more playing time this year, and it looks like he kind of stayed the same, but still, 72 is 72. That's not bad. I think we're good at corner. I don't think we need to make adjustments there. We need a new free safety. We got Delpit on a new deal. We need a new punter as well. Okay, but let's check and see who are the top guys. Who are the top guys in free agency right now? Well, he's an idiot. Oh my God. I got to try. 34 leaves us. That doesn't even put us in the ballpark. Yeah, that didn't even put us in the ballpark with Tyreek Hill. We're not good enough to get him. Unfortunately. There are some other good guys in the... I wanted to get really elite player. Maybe we could try to trade for somebody in that case. Well, in that case, Tyreek Hill is just too expensive for us. He's 33, and we only have 53 million. So I just think we're gonna have to let that go. Let's take a look at the position. Ooh, Austin Corbett. Corbett. We need a new center. We do need a center. Do a 1-year deal, neutral deal with him. Almost took us down to 47. That's not bad. Actually, Spurs only offer. Let's lower this down to a team-friendly option. Save a little bit if we can. Looks like nobody is really offering him much of anything else. Right tackle-wise, Ryan Ramczyk. Come on down, sir. We need help on that side of the line. But we're only offer 2, so you know what? Let's lower this deal in our favor. 1-year deal there. Okay, got 31 still left. Left ends. Well, the best guy available is a 79. He's not even really interested. But Miles Murphy, 77, looks pretty solid. And I think I'd still go with the team-friendly deal, and we could do it. No, we can't. We got to go higher. All right, let's go with the neutral deal instead. Maybe that'll put us above. It doesn't really put us above the Bengals. I may have to sweeten the deal, but shoot, I don't know. I don't want to have to sweeten it too much. You know what? If we can't get him, then maybe we just draft a new defensive end in the draft. We may just do that. Okay, so middle linebacker is what we need. Well, Bobby is 80, but none of these guys are interested. That's the deal. And Barnes is interested, of course. We just had him. Diablo doesn't look too bad. What about Bobby? Let's just go with the neutral deal and see if this does anything. Okay. Well, nobody's really offering him anything else. Let's go with the team-friendly deal and see where that puts us. Okay. So that helps us out a little bit. We still have 11 to work with. We need a fullback. Let's do it again. Let's just bring in Juice Check. Team-friendly deal, is that good enough? Probably will be. Well, we've reached our limit for the first wave. So this is what we're going with in the first wave of free agency. I could have gone after Tyreek Hill, but I would have been able to afford to be able to offer contracts to any of these guys. We actually need to fill positions legitimately. So Kyle Juszczyk in what probably will be his final season. But Ramczyk, this is a good upgraded right tackle because we need a new right tackle. Bobby, new middle linebacker to start for us, and Miles Murphy, a new defensive end to go on the opposite side of Myles Garrett. Unfortunately, we're second place behind the Bengals, so we may not be able to land him. And a new starting center, Austin Corbett, who's a 76 overall. So let's see if any of these guys sign the offers that we gave them. I'm worried. I'm thinking Miles Murphy probably won't sign with us, so we may have to come up with a backup plan there, but we will see. So we got Juszczyk to sign, and we got Ramczyk to sign. And it looks like that we weren't able to get Murphy. So we're still in the running. Oh, but the Giants offered more to Corbett, so they're probably going to get him instead of us. Let's see about other centers. If we can't get him. Josh Myers isn't that bad. Let's make an offer to him as a backup in case we can't. We would have to offer a decent deal. Okay, let's just go with a neutral deal then with him, offering a little bit more. Okay, that puts us at number 1, so hopefully that helps. So I think, unfortunately, we're going to lose out on Corbett to the Giants. But we put in an offer for Myers, who is just as good. So hopefully that'll help us out. So as far as targeting, we have 2 centers now. One of them we're probably going to lose out on. We have Bobby. So let me see about other positions that we need more of. Okay, let's go back to our roster, and let me take another look and see maybe some positions we need for depth. What positions do we maybe need depth guys at? I think receiving rise, we may just have to look at drafting another good receiver to help us out, or maybe trading for one. I think maybe trading for one may just have to be the option. I may want to save some money so we can do that. All right, 80, 81. Hopefully we sign one of those centers. 3 right guards. So we do need a backup center if we do sign a center. We obviously are going to hopefully we get Did we offer a defensive end a contract, a left end specifically? Have we targeted one, or have we not? Oh, we haven't. Okay, all right. Well, that's the next position we definitely need to look at. All right, left defensive end. That's the position we need to look at first. Oh yeah, that's right, because we were looking at Miles Murphy, but he doesn't want to come here. Rashawn Gary, neutral deal. Will you take that? Yeah, that puts us like in third place. I think we're just gonna need to draft one there. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. And I think because we have like 7 point something million left, I think that's what we're gonna have to do. I think this may be it for free agency for us. I talked about how we could, be possibly spending more money, but I just don't think we're able to do that. We're still targeting Bobby. We did sign Juszczyk, and we signed Myers. Obviously, we weren't able to get that other guy, but we got Ramczyk as our new right tackle. We got Myers as our new center. Of course, we got Juszczyk. Bobby still hasn't signed with us, but we're his only offer, so I'm pretty sure he will. I'm not worried about missing out on him. In terms of, we also need a new punter. Let's see about J.K. Scott. Team-friendly deal. This will probably get him to sign with us. He's the best punter out there on the market, so we're going to go ahead and bring him in to help us out to fill that void because we don't have a punter. We could use another backup quarterback. But Daniel Jones is going to want a decent chunk of change just to come in and be a backup. And I don't think I need to bring in somebody to really nip at the heels per se of Ewers. But Jake Browning, I think would be a solid backup quarterback to bring in. So we're going to bring him in to be our backup. Are we his only offer? Yes, we're his only offer, and it's a team-friendly deal. So he's actually very high on us, probably because it's close to home for him, so he's probably interested in coming here because of that. Are there running backs who are... Cam Akers is actually interested. He wouldn't be a bad option for a backup running back. Team-friendly deal would not really be too much of breaking the bank if you ask me. And at this stage of his career, he's kind of winding down. He's, regressing a little bit. I mean, 28 years old is not, old, but, and he's a scheme fit guy too. So I think it's worth bringing in as our backup running back behind Nick Chubb. So we'll do that. Okay. As far as guys that we need for depth, what about the safeties? Don't we need like another free safety or something? Take a look. Oh, we do. Okay, we don't have a new. That's another starter. I forgot that we need a new starter at. Okay, all right then. Well, in that case, we may have to retract one of these offers that we made in free agency. Who we're bringing in for depth purposes. Okay, well, let's just go to free safeties and see who is left. So much. He's already signed. Hooker would be the easier option we could bring in. Everybody else is not good. Ugh. I think we may just have to draft one. Yeah. All right. Free safety is a draft position. Okay. So I think that's it. Okay. So let me go ahead and advance through the rest of free agency because I think this is really it for us. I think this is all we're going to be able to do. All right. So let's go ahead and let me take a look at our roster and fully establish what positions we need to, 100% draft. Let me change Browning's number from 1 to another number really quick. Let's change his number to 18. We can always change these later, but right now it's going to make number 18. All right, so we have Cam Akers now as our. Let's actually change some of these numbers a little bit. Let's change Akers. We can't make him number 3. Let's change him to 25 for right now. Let's give Sir Roderick Thompson his number 28, like he wore at Texas Tech. I know I've been kind of holding on to him just out of my, fandom for Texas Tech. I know, but it's still fine, if you ask me. Let me change these guys' numbers, basically jersey swap them. So Akers is still 27. All right, we got Juszczyk, who's still wearing 44. Okay, 80, 81, 78, 85, and 79 for Ramczyk. So offensive line has improved, but we still have 2 guys in the 70s. But it's better than what we had last year. We had 3 starting off in the 70s. So left end is definitely a position we need to draft. Middle linebacker. That is the position we need. And I guess we actually weren't able to sign anybody, which is deflating. Okay, so middle linebacker, left end, free safety. Middle linebacker, left end, free safety. Those are positions that we really need to be looking at. All right, so let's take a look at mock drafts going into the final one. Let's see what they are projecting us to do. This is mock draft number 5. Arch Manning is projected to be the number 1 overall pick to the Cardinals. I saw that. Right outside linebacker. Well, we do need a linebacker, not necessarily a right outside one, but Gerald Baber, we could move him to middle linebacker inside. Florida State doesn't look too bad. Are there other middle linebackers who are projected to be drafted like way earlier? No, just left outside ones. But there are some linebackers projected to go high. What about afterwards? Not really specifically middle linebackers. Oh, Brad Fitzpatrick maybe out of Alabama. Maybe he would be a better option, even though we would kind of be reaching. He's projected to go 23rd. We draft him at 15, which may be a little bit of a reach, but he is a true middle linebacker, so that may be worth it. Okay, and left ends. Are there any left ends that are projected to go high or decently in the first round? No, it's really all like quarterbacks, but that's and corners as well. There's Michael Kramer, a right end. There's a couple of right ends that are projected to go high. What was that position? It was left end, middle linebacker. Oh, free safety. What free safeties are projected to kind of be around where we're picking? Really nobody. D. Ridley is the first safety I see projected to go off the board at 26. But nobody else really, so maybe that's a second-round pick. But I think that Fitzpatrick guy, Brad, I think was his name. I think that may be the guy that we take. We need to get a linebacker. All right. Well, of course, Baber is there. But Brad Fitzpatrick is also there. We're going to take him as our first-round pick. Good pick. All right. It's a B-, but it still says good. Consistently shows high-level instincts, dependable tackler, big hits galore. Welcome to the Cleveland Browns. I'm hoping that he's at least a high 70s guy, maybe on the verge of being in the 80s. We will see. All right. So we need a defensive end. But this left end is projected to be a day rounds 2 through 3. I feel like this would be a reach, though. I mean, there's some defensive ends that are projected to be better. I'm gonna reach and go for Antonio Hills out of Tulane because we need a left end. We don't have our good starting left end. It says good. Okay, it says good pick. Awesome. He doesn't fit our scheme. Sudden hands can create quick pass rush wins. Getting stronger is a must. Struggles to disengage from blocks. Okay, well, it still said a good pick. As long as we don't have a bad pick, I would call that a win, in the draft. There's still some of these quarterbacks are available, including Malachi Nelson. I'm surprised he's available. He hasn't been picked yet. But we need a free safety. Desmond Thomas out of Oklahoma, yes. Come to the Browns. Another good pick. Understands and executes zone assignments. Dependable tackler, concerned about his speed. All right, then. Well, he was our third-round pick. So, fortunately, this is the first draft I think I've ever done in a rebuild on Madden 25 where I was able to fill starting needs in the draft in the first 3 picks. Hopefully. We'll see. Daryl Sheldon looks like a pretty good receiver. We could also use more help at running back. Where do we need backups at? Well, we need backup free safety help. Demetrius, well, actually we don't. We have DeMar Hamlin out there. 50 seconds on the clock. This quarterback fits our scheme. Greg Hayden out of Oklahoma State. You know what? Let's go with a young quarterback. Help us out. Well, that's an average pick. Shows great touch on intermediate throws. Will stand and deliver under pressure. Makes all the easy throws. Well, you need backup quarterbacks. We got a backup quarterback. He'll be our third-string guy. He's our first average pick of the draft. So now we're in the 5th round. There's some receivers that are not looking too bad. Some running backs, too. But this Daryl Sheldon of Eastern Washington doesn't look too shabby. Let's get another young, solid receiver. This is an average pick, former high school power forward, faster on tape, needs to work on catching. Ooh, well, if you're going to be a receiver and you got to work on catching. That's not really best thing to say. We're in the 6th round here. Some of these guys are starting to drop now, but still. This guy, Justin Smith, left outside linebacker, doesn't look too bad, and I feel like we just need to get some defense. Let's draft him. Fits our scheme. First bad pick. Slow to react. Power moves. Okay. Well, I don't think we probably weren't going to get out of this draft without taking at least one bad pick, because I feel like I always do at least once. So, yeah. This right outside linebacker, Matthew Beard, doesn't look too bad. We drafted him, I think, in another rebuild. In the 7th round here. Let's take Matthew Beard. I think I drafted him in the Cowboys rebuild, but I can't remember exactly. What does it say about him? Oh, it didn't give us a grade for him. Okay, all right. Well, let's take a look at our draft picks. Let's see what their ratings are, and let's see how they look. All right, well, Fitzpatrick, first-round pick, 74. Okay, not bad. Antonio Hill, 72. Desmond Thomas is 72. Hayden is a 71. So we got all of our first through 5th round picks all in the 70s. So that's not that bad of a draft. We had a couple of bad picks, but they were picks that happened later on in the draft. So not really too concerned. Let's go ahead and adjust our roster. Let's take a look at the way things are looking. So Greg Hayden becomes our second-string quarterback. He's actually better than Browning right now. I don't think this guy is real, but let me just check just to be sure. Greg Hayden, Oklahoma State. I don't think this is a real player. Yeah, he's not a real player. Okay. But he is now our backup quarterback behind yours. 73 is not bad, and he's a scheme fit guy as well. We have Akers, and we got Roderick. Fullback, it's Juszczyk. Where's that receiver we drafted? Ooh, Daryl Shelton is up to a 71 already, so that puts him above some of the younger receivers we drafted. I was a little bit high on Lacey, but he really hasn't developed too much, so unfortunately, I don't think it's worth a second contract. Who knows? We may start trading for a pick if he's going to continue not to develop. And Deuce Robinson, although he spent most of the year on the practice squad last year, so I'm not faulting him too much for that. But Daryl Shelton looks pretty good. Not too bad at all. Left some deep, so we didn't draft another center. But we could probably move, let's move Joe Huber over to center so we have a backup there, because guards can typically play center okay, and there's not really a big concern about the learning of a new position there. So we're going to move him over to center. So now we have our center situation situated. We got Teller, we got Roberts there, 79, 65. So Antonio Hills is better rated than Roberts, who we drafted a few years ago. All right, then. First of all, let's see if Antonio Hills is a real player. I don't think he is. Antonio Harris. No, that's not him. Okay, so he's not a real player. Garrett, and then we have McGuire backing him up. Hall. We don't have another defensive tackle. Okay, so I may just need to sign one before the season begins. Justin Smith out of Oklahoma State. Pretty sure he is not real. Brad Fitzpatrick. I don't think he is real. Brad Fitzpatrick, Alabama. Now, Minka Fitzpatrick. Okay. Well, Brad Fitzpatrick, we actually don't have another middle linebacker on the roster. Ooh, but maybe we can move one of these guys over. Can Beard play middle linebacker as well, potentially? Might just have to have two rookies over there at middle linebacker. And I know Beard isn't a real player. Ooh, he's a 57 now because of that. Okay, well, let's put him back actually to right outside linebacker, and we will sign a better middle linebacker in a free agency before the preseason begins. So let's put him back at right outside linebacker so that, yeah, because he's up to 62 now. Maybe I should try to move Houseman over to middle linebacker, see what that does to his rating. Because he didn't really get a lot of playing time last season because Bowosu. He better at middle linebacker, maybe? He's about the same. Okay, so we'll keep Houseman actually in middle linebacker then. How about that? All right, so we got Beard, corners, Newsom, Mitchell, Marshall, Tampa, Johnson. Didn't we draft a rookie corner? No, we didn't. Okay. Oh, it was a free safety. That's right. Okay, so Desmond Thomas, a rookie we drafted from Oklahoma State. 72 overall. Pretty good start, if you ask me. Hamlin, a little bit worse than him. So hopefully we found a new starter at free safety. Delpit, Hopkins, Scott. Well, in terms of this roster, to me, it's really about the same. But I don't think we're done just yet. I'm going to go ahead and advance to next week so we can get to the preseason. Let's fill up our roster with some free agents who can potentially help us out. So, yeah, let's go ahead and check. Let's check free safeties. Ooh, there's some better guys out here. Okay, so Justin Simmons is still not signed. We got him on a one-year deal. Okay, that's going to really help us out there. What about middle linebackers? Nobody really better than what we have, but Kenneth Murray Jr. is not too shabby. Let's bring him on to give a little competition to Fitzpatrick. And left and wise, there's nobody really better here. Armstead, we're not going to bring him on again. I don't think there's any reason to do that. We do need a backup. I think we need a new backup center. And Bradbury wasn't claimed at all, so we're actually going to bring him back after we had him last season. Let's just go ahead and do that. So we have what other positions do we need to have filled up for depth purposes? Let me take a look here. Okay, not really QB. We're good on 3 quarterbacks. We have 3 running backs. We have a fullback. Receiving wise, we got a lot of receivers. Tight end wise, I think we're okay. Left end center. Oh, we actually did have another center. We had Huber. Okay, so 74, 78. Left end. Actually, there weren't any better left ends. Were there left ends? Well, there were, but none of them fit our scheme. I don't really think any of them will be better than what we have. So we're just gonna roll with that. You know what? Can we just cut Huber because we signed Bradbury? I think I just want to go ahead and cut him. Yeah, we won't free up anything in cap space, but one less player to worry about during cuts. At least 73, so there are ones better. Oh, we need another defensive tackle. That's what we need. We need a 3rd defensive tackle. Let's bring in Poona Ford. And I think that's it in terms of depth that we need to just kind of fill up our roster to make sure that we have depth guys at every position. So we got Ford, Hunter, who's better. We got Hall, who's coming off a Pro Bowl season. Carter, we got Smith, Fitzpatrick, Murray. Oh, I forgot. I moved Houseman over. But Kenneth Murray coming on is 75, just like Fitzpatrick. That'll provide some competition in middle linebacker and some depth as well. And Justin Simmons, massive upgrade at free safety. Can we change his number back to 31 potentially? Cameron Oliver's 31. But you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and save the pain and go ahead and cut him. And I'm just going to make him 31. He deserves to wear his old number back in there. Simmons was somebody that I was looking at this offseason, but his meter was in the red. Like, he was not interested in coming to Cleveland. But then again, nobody signed him during the offseason. 11-year veteran, 77 overall, not too spectacular. This very well could be his last season, but still, that is an improvement over the rookie Desmond Thomas. Not saying I don't believe that Desmond could be good, but we needed, help over there, and we got it. So here's what I want to try to do now that we've kind of filled out our roster with positions. I want to see if there's any good receivers who are on the trade block right now. There are some. Adonai Mitchell is on the trade block, but he's a 79 overall. He's not a really spectacular, game changer at receiver. All right, let me take a look at the landscape of the NFL right now in terms of receivers. Let's just start with Trade Finder. Let's see. Okay, all right. Let's just take a look at receivers in the NFL. Let's take a look at the receiving landscape. Okay, the Bears, they have an 85 and they got an 87. None of those guys, unfortunately, fit our scheme. That's what kind of concerns me a little bit with trying to trade for somebody like that. Emeka has been a very talented receiver for them. Maybe try to get somebody like T. Higgins. I know it's trading within our division. We don't have a lot of cap room, though. That's the concerning thing for me. Can I trade away maybe a second-round pick to get him? We'd love to do business, but need significantly more to start negotiating seriously. Okay, so I think we need to add a player. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, T. Higgins would be an upgrade over everybody who we have. You know what? Maybe I should try for something else. Let's maybe go a little bit more, not for broke, but just, I don't know. Let's try to find somebody we can trade for maybe in the 90s. That may be tough, but if T. Higgins still looks like the best option, maybe worth it. Elijah Moore. But he's an 80. We don't need another 80. We need a... Brandon Ayuk is a 94. Ooh. Deebo Samuel doesn't look too bad, but I want somebody to actually trade for somebody who's going to be like our starter right away. Chris Olave. Garrett Wilson. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a 99. Oh, gosh. He has progressed very well in this game. 87, Jaden Reed. Leggett, Douglas. Puka was a 90. Say Flowers doesn't look too bad either. Pickens. There's Devontae Adams as well, who they just signed. Ooh. He's regressed a little bit. Maybe we can go after Pickens. Add him. a second-round pick for Pickens. Trade decline. Need significantly more. What about a second-round pick for next year? It moved it up a little bit, but they still declined. Okay, they need... Could throw in actually another receiver of ours. Maybe we just throw Hardman in there. Okay, still declined. Let's take away that second-round pick for the next season and see if this does it kind of alone. Okay, so we need to have that future second-rounder. Okay, so let's add that pick back. I think it's new that you can actually trade up to 6 players. So, not that bad. I like that new mechanic because I think originally you can only do 3. Maybe throw in a corner, Cam Mitchell. Still declined. Okay, let's keep Mitchell on there. We already threw in Hardman. You know what? Maybe we should just take Hardman out. You know, no. Let's leave Hardman in there. Cam Akers. We would need to get another running back. Still declined. Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Maybe let's just leave everything the way that we have it. Let's maybe go for T. Higgins instead. All right. Let's see if this does it for the Bengals. Still declined. Jeez. I guess we're just going to have to add another pick. Let's add, for next year, a 4th rounder for next season. Will you guys take this for T. Higgins? Still declined. Jeez. I think they would value a player more than a pick. This isn't easy right now. I don't want to trade away Simmons because we just got him. I know we just got... You can only have 3 players. Okay. Okay, so I guess we got to do a pick. Okay, well, let's do... We already had a 2nd. Let's do a 3rd one for next year. 3rd round pick for next year. Wow, that was a lot that we had to give to get T. Higgins. 88 overall, though. Big upgraded receiver, though. We just traded away our 3rd corner, our 3rd receiver, and our backup running back, who we actually signed in the offseason, plus a 2nd-round pick for 2028, a 2nd-round pick for 2029, and a 3rd-round pick for 2029 to bring in T. Higgins. But with that, we have a massive upgrade at wide receiver. And this automatically makes T. Higgins our number 1 receiver over Jerry Jeudy. Now, Higgins doesn't fit our scheme, but Higgins automatically becomes our number 1 receiver. You know, he's always been kind of second fiddle in a way to Jamar Chase. And, you know, trading in the division sometimes can backfire. But we were able to get him. And I think he is on the last year of his deal, maybe. But we just got a big upgraded receiver to help us out. So we have Judy, we have Barry and Brown, we got Bernard, we got Sheldon, we got Lacey. So that is our receiving core this season. I'm hoping that getting T. Higgins will put this receiving core in a way over the top so we will be better. So we can't give Higgins, what number does he wear? Okay, he wears number 5. All right, well, you know what? Lacey, we're going to change your number to something random. We are going to give T. Higgins number 5. That's what he's currently wearing. So we are going to change your number to something random. Change your number to 84. And we are going to give T. Higgins number 5, like he wears in real life. We can actually restructure his contract. All right, so it'll free up $3.62 million. All right, that's great. Can I restructure contracts to some other players before we get going? I may do that. I may go ahead and do that just to think ahead a little bit. All right. Let me go to player salaries and restructure some contracts and go ahead and take care of that if we can. So Myles Garrett, of course, our top guy. We can restructure his deal. $1.9 million. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Myles Garrett. All right, Denzel Ward. Can we restructure his deal as well? Nope. Is he on the last year of his deal? Is that why? No. Actually, he is. Okay, so that's a guy we got to re-sign going into next season. We already restructured Higgins after we traded for him. So Njoku, let's restructure his deal for $1.73 million. It won't free up a lot, but it'll free up some. Newsome. It'll free up a little bit. Not much, but at least a little. What about Owosu? No. Is he on the last year of his deal as well? Yeah, he is. So he'll be somebody that we have to worry about re-signing, as well as Teller, Judy. But I'm probably not going to re-sign Judy because we traded for Higgins. But Higgins, no. Higgins isn't on the last year of his deal. I was looking at Denzel Ward by accident. Higgins still has a few more years left on his contract since we traded for him. He's now our new number 1 receiver. So if we traded for him, Jerry Judy will be expendable, and that's what we're going with. So we got a massive upgrade at receiver. I want to see also if I could potentially trade for a left end, a really good left end, to go on the opposite side of Garrett. I think this is, since we regressed in the 3rd year of this rebuild, I don't want to continue to go backward anymore. So I think the best thing I could do, I'm okay with going with 275 overall middle linebackers. Hopefully Fitzpatrick starts most of the games and he progresses to maybe be in the 80s by the end of the season. Hopefully so. I'm okay with Simmons being a 77 safety because he could get up to maybe the 80s by some point of the season. We'll see. We only have 2 running backs, so we actually need to go out and sign another one. So I'm going to do that as well. But as far as other, but I think if we can trade for a left end, I think that would also be good. Let me go and see if I can trade for another left defensive end. Let me see what the landscape is looking like in terms of left ends. Is there somebody in the 80s? Greg Rosenau is in there. Oh, Zach Allen there too. Ooh, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, we'll come back to that. George Karlaftis. Oh, wait, is he a... Ooh, Nick Bosa's 97. No. There's no way we can trade for him. That's too much. Trayvon Walker, maybe. Excuse me. Michael Williams doesn't look too... Braden Fisk. I think we could actually put together a package to trade for him. Throw in Elijah Roberts. This is not going to be enough. Yeah, there's no way that that's enough. All right. Let's see if we can maybe send. What do they really need? They need a bit of linebacker help. All right, let's do that. And a third-round pick. Still declined. Okay. Well, maybe we have to offer another future pick. I hate to offer another future pick for him, but maybe a fifth. Still declined, but it's moving up. We have a whole lot of corners. Maybe TJ Tampa, throw him in there. Still declined. Okay, we can offer up to 3 players in a deal. About Lee Hunter, young guy. Still declined. Okay, all right. Let's start over again. Let's take him off. Okay. All right. There was somebody else I saw who looked good. Zach Allen. Okay. Let's see about pick for him. Let's do a third rounder this year. Start this. Okay, well that's obviously declined. Okay, so let's give them also maybe one of our. Let's give them Roberts. All right, still declined. I don't think Roberts really has any good value anyway, so I don't want to trade away another receiver. All right, let's try putting Hunter in there again. That's definitely declined. So a third rounder this year. What about a future pick next year? A fourth rounder for next season. All right, still declined. We're gonna have to offer another player. All right. Jermaine Bernard. Getting up there, but not close enough. Start with Murray. Still declined. I think this is the best package that I could do for a left end that's in the 80s to some degree. George. Oh no, that one's not even close. Quiddy Payne? No. You know what? I'm gonna abandon that. But I am gonna actually go to free agency, and I am going to sign another left end to provide just some relief a little bit. I'm gonna bring back Eric Armstead. I'm gonna bring him back, and I'm also going to sign another running back since we traded away our second stringer in a deal. I'm going to sign Kendre Miller, who's the best guy on the market. And yeah, that's what we're going with. I know Eric Armstead is somebody who we've already had, but we also brought Bradbury back to be our backup center again. So that's what we're going with there. Kendre Miller is our backup running back now. Sir Roderick Thompson, of course, is still here. Left end wise, we have Eric Armstead back, Antonio Hill. So once again, like in year 2, Eric Armstead is going to be the starter. Basically a stopgap guy for this year. That's all he can be. Just hoping that Antonio Hills progresses a little bit and so does Roberts. But, we will see. We're bringing back a familiar face just to give us some help, We got Puna Ford, and that's where we're going with our roster. But I'm glad I was able to make a trade to get a really good receiver in T. Higgins. So hopefully that will make a difference on offense in terms of the weapons that we have. So thank you all for watching part 3 of the Cleveland Browns rebuild. I don't know if I'll be live streaming tomorrow because, tomorrow's, my second off day and I got to get ready to go to work on Wednesday. I'm not going to open up on my channel about personal stuff, but if y'all don't see me live stream for maybe on a Monday or a Tuesday, because normally, especially on Mondays, I like to because it's like Saturdays to me. It's probably because I either got called into work or, something just crazy happened. I'm not going to go into full details of what's been going on with what's been going on in my job lately, but let's just say there have been a few events that have really kind of, shaken things up a little bit, so to speak. I'm not going to go diving into it, but it is it's some tough stuff. So that's the way I'm going to leave it. But anyway, thank y'all for watching this video. I'll see y'all in the next one.